I want to talk a little bit about time management. Time management is very important in any learning situation. There are some situations when you don't need to worry about time, you're just having fun, and that's right, fine. But there are other times when you do need to set your boundaries. The programs you will have been given from your classroom, from the school, like I say, should have set times on it. Some of them will even have you plugging in or logging in at a certain time, and teachers may even be teaching online, I don't know. But for those where it's more text and books and it's on screen, it's very hard to look at a computer screen for a long period of time. Even watching this video of me now, I'm conscious that I've been standing in one room and you get a little bit landlocked. And so you need those break times in. I've talked about that before, very important, adding those reward slot break times. Okay, even stopping for morning tea is a change of scene, it's a reset, it's a chance to get a breath, get a drink of water, have some space. Very important. But you need to plan this into your day. Too often in homes, in general home life, the day just ambles along. When do we have a set time for morning tea? Do we have a set lunch? But if you're going to try and do school at home, you need to make sure that you're getting that time for quality breaks, food, water, and those things that we just take for granted when we're in our workplaces or in schools. Okay, in homes, So you need a little bit of ramped up, not so casual home approach for breaks. The next thing that's really important is understanding that probably the greatest thing we teach our children in home education or day schools is not just the reading, writing, arithmetic, but how to work hard or how not to work hard or how to get out of work. And look, I've seen in my own life not being successful at school when I was young, where I actually learned how to get out of work, how to use my intellect for trying to outsmart the system. Of course, came to grief there, didn't do too well at school. And I thank the Lord for the work He's done in my life, learning to read after leaving school and the long journey to even get to university and become a teacher. So a lot of patience there in a long journey. But I'm hoping that our students can have an easier road. It's so much easier to get these skills when you're young, learning how to sometimes just shut up and do what you're told. Other times have inquiry and getting fired up about your learning and that sort of thing. And yet other times just taking time to ponder and look at the shapes in the clouds. Okay? We need a bit of all of these things, not just regiment and not just free and learning happens by magic. It's just not true. There's a myth in homeschooling called natural learning. And I say a myth because some of it is true, but a lot of it is a myth in that it doesn't ring true at the end of the day. Now I'll give you an example of that. And I used to speak at conferences and give talks on this natural learning thing. Natural learning is a belief that if kids are just surrounded by a great engaging environment, that they will just naturally one day want to read, want to write, and it'll just all happen by magic. That's an extreme version of it. Now the good in natural learning thinking is that learning should be a continuum. It shouldn't ever be drowning you or making you anxious. It should always be at an instructional level, for you to engage in it and grow your intellect and assimilate new information into your thought matrix. But I do believe that our parents knew how to work harder than this generation does. Sometimes still you've got to knuckle down and work hard too. It's getting that right balance, okay? So time management is a big part of that. And if you don't have a set time to start your day, then children get really good at distracting you. For example, if I said you start with a little devotion or sharing a book, something fun just to break down that anxiety and get going together at the start of the day, and a little conference about what's coming up that day and what you're looking forward to, what you're nervous about, but how we're going to stick together through it, that sort of stuff. When do you start that? Because if you don't have a set time, you'll find kids will say, "Oh, Mum, I actually want to tidy my room. I'm just tidying my room for you, And you go, "Oh, Johnny wants to tidy his room. When does that happen?" Well, it happens because he's wanting to get out studying English or maths or something like that. It's called work avoidance. But this me generation too, where a lot of things are about games and computers, unfortunately what that teaches children and sadly even us as the younger adults listening now, and some older adults, that you're the center of the universe, and these things, the computer responds to your needs and gives you what you need now. Here, me. Okay? Now, that doesn't translate well into learning. But kids are often too young to understand why they need to learn maths or why they need to learn reading. I don't need to read, I hate reading, I don't like reading. And that tells you that they don't actually understand the importance of reading. And so part of your time management is having the set routine where you are giving times to these things each day. And if you're giving that time, you're telling the student that this is important. We're making a set time for it. So there's a lot of issues around the jobs and duties, around rosters, routines. Plan to set your day in the morning, and I'd recommend 8 o'clock with younger children, sometimes even 7:30 if they're the younger kids that get up at the crack of dawn. Otherwise they're exhausted by the time you go to start school. I wonder why you can't get them paying attention. So try and make it a morning slot. I definitely would not have teenagers, but young adults starting their schoolwork at 10. If they're starting at 10, that's going to drift on longer all day, and it'll be like pulling teeth in the afternoon. The brain also, the research says that the brain is more active and they're more engaged if they get up and get into their learning. Now I've heard it said, oh, my children aren't like that. I've seen the studies on teenagers that they need more sleep, their bodies need more sleep, and they need to sleep until 10 o'clock. That is absolute hooey. It's a correlational study. There's no direct evidence there. And you'll find those same kids, I know from experience in our school over the years, over my years of education in distance ed, the ones that want to sleep in later, you find out why they want to sleep in is because they've been up till 2 in the morning on games or videos or YouTube or something, and usually rubbish at that. So get to sleep at a reasonable time, get up at a reasonable time, brain is more active and engaged. Okay? There is not some world-changing culture thing where kids should be allowed to be up till 2 in the morning. You're not a bad parent if you make them go to sleep. Main point here is start your day at a time, plan in your breaks, plan the little reward slots like I said before. Hey, you've done well on that unit there. I know you're finding it tough, but you're hanging in there. I'll help you with these other 2. Let's work hard for that, and let's go for a jump on the trampoline for 10 minutes. The other thing that can cause difficult for you to make a start and get into your day is if you're anxious, if you've been given a program that's a large volume of work and making a start on it. Oh, when do you actually make a start? Look, you're creating a rod for your own back if you don't make a start. The longer you take to get engaged, the more you'll feel behind, the more your child will feel late in getting going, and you'll feel guilty, I guarantee, at the end of the day. You'll feel a lot better if you put the time and energy in at the start, and that will help you with any anxiety levels as well. Okay, keep your smile, keep going. Hope I've encouraged you again.